Louise Reddy's here. She's senior police officer at Surfers Against Sewage. Another story that came out across our desk late yesterday. Basically, it's a massive mess out there around the coastline. Ministers are calling the spill numbers disgraceful after Anglian Water and Thames Water recorded the biggest increase in raw sewage discharge into rivers and coastal waters in England for the longest duration on record last year. I'm getting sick and tired of these water companies, not least because one of them, Thames Water, has been digging up one of the roads in my neighbourhood for about the last week and a half, making it impossible for people to go anywhere on the bus. The buses have been rerouted. Nobody knows why. Nobody knows what they're doing. They seem to be able to act with complete and utter alacrity. Nobody seems to do anything about it. They get a fine, they pay it, they carry on. Louise, very good morning to you.
Good morning to you, Mike.
Good to talk to you. I mean, these water companies just go from bad to worse, really, don't they? I mean, every single year we've got a bad story about a water company, and it doesn't seem to get any better.
Yeah, frankly, we've been hearing from water companies that they're going to make improvements over the past 5 years, but actually, since 2020, the amount of discharges we've had this year, they're worse than in 2020. And despite that, we're seeing customer bills rise next week as well. So
yeah,
we know
by huge amounts. I mean, I've been getting messages from people saying my water bill's arrived and it's gone up by sort of 35%. Another one said gone up by 45%. I mean, it's madness.
Yeah, it's crazy. And actually, when you look at what's being spent by those water bills, we know that only 35p of every pound that's spent goes on investment.
Yeah.
A third of the actual pound that you spend goes on paying back shareholder dividends and paying back debt, which is frankly disgusting when all we need is investment in the infrastructure that we want to see.
Right. And this takes me all the way back to 2012. I remember before the Olympics were happening, London was being dug up continually by Thames Water because they said, we've got to replace all the Victorian pipes that are under the streets of London so that when the Olympics happens, it's all going to be fixed and it's all going to be fine. Well, I don't know what they did then, but they certainly didn't fix anything because they're still digging everything up.
Yeah, we've got a massive network of pipes going around the UK, and there is a difficulty in fixing them, and it will take a little bit of time. But frankly, these numbers are disgusting. 3.5 million hours of sewage last year. Yeah. That's over 50 spills an hour across the UK. And we really need reform of the sector, to be honest.
Yes. I mean, obviously the government's talked about the renationalisation of the railways, and I don't know whether that's a good idea or whether it's going to work at all. But surely there's something going to have to be done about these water companies because it's unsustainable what's going on. The prices are getting too high. They're complete and utter profligacy in paying no attention to regulation. They seem to think it's fine if they just pay the fine. They never do anything about repairing their problems. You know, I've funnily enough spent some time on the south coast in the summer. They have actually put a new pipe into Bexhill, which is one of the big sewage problems in the past few years. And last summer they actually put a new pipe in. But it still seems to me to be a rather backward view of the world, does it not, to pump sewage into the sea anyway?
Yeah, exactly. It's a wild thing to do. But as you were saying, we're talking about reforming the sector here. You were talking about renationalisation. That at the moment, the structure of the water companies is on the cards. The government have launched an investigation into the water industry, and we're calling for them to actually make sure that rather than profit coming first for these water companies, making sure that there's environmental standards and standards for public health before water companies can actually pay out dividends to shareholders is a critical way to go.
Yeah, I mean, and what's the time frame on something like that, though? I mean, could we look forward to maybe a summer soon, not this summer probably, but a summer soon where this just doesn't happen?
Yeah, we're calling for an end to sewage pollution, and we think that can happen soon. We think particularly in the places that we swim, surf and play, we could do that by 2030 if they prioritise actually fixing the places that you were talking about in Bexhill, going on holiday, making sure that we're actually fixing the problem at these critical places first. We could do that, I think, by 2030.
Yeah, let's hope so. Louise, good to talk to you. I wish you well. Louise Reddy, Senior Policy Officer at Surfers Against Sewage. Absolutely shocking what these water companies get away with, isn't it? Dreadful, absolutely dreadful.